Welcome back, everybody. What's up? It's a Wednesday. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Mr. Paul. What up, Paul? Good to see you in here. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good week. We're halfway through the week. It's Wednesday. It's Wings Wednesday. Let's go. Wowzers. The price of Bitcoin keeps doing what it does. And today we're going to talk about what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know. Okay? What your financial advisor doesn't want you to know. I'm going to tell you exactly right now. I'm going to tell you what he doesn't want you to know. After we do some shout outs and after we do the stat strength, we'll talk about what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know in the Why We Stack segment of the show, which will be coming up in about 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes, like 3 minutes. So let's jump into it. I feel like more of a Bitcoiner with my glasses on, guys. I don't know. With my orange future. All right. Let's jump into the first segment of the show that we like to call the Sat Strength. Sat Strength. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $72,582.08. And it's crazy, 72,000. Wow. You can buy 1,376 Satoshis for a single dollar today. You might be asking yourself, especially if you're here and you're new, what the heck is a Satoshi and what's this guy talking about stacking sats? Well, we say sats for short for the word Satoshi. A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar has 100 pennies, 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis, okay? So when you look at the price of Bitcoin at $72,000, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, I can't afford that. I'm priced out. There's no way I can afford that. But there is. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin that'll have the same properties as if you have a whole Bitcoin. Just like a penny has the same properties of a dollar. Sorry, it has the same properties of USD, US dollars, even if it's not a whole dollar, right? Well, a Satoshi, a sat, a fraction of a Bitcoin will give you the same properties as of holding a whole Bitcoin. Okay, you'll get inflation resistance, and you won't be debased by the money being devalued, right? And you'll be able to gain purchasing power the more Satoshis or the more Bitcoin you hold. Okay, 100 million Satoshis is one Bitcoin, and today you can buy 1,374 Satoshis for a single dollar. Okay, let's say you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You look down and see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day that penny could be worth 13.73 Satoshis. Pretty crazy. What up, Carlos? Round of applause from a live studio audience for Carlos Jaramillo in the house. Woo! DCA to BTC all day, every day. Okay, let's get into why we stack, yeah? So we can talk about what your financial advisor does not want you to know. Goes. Why we stack. Oops, there it is. This is why we stack, boys. And this is what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know. All you got to do is take the value, the money that you're trying to set aside for your retirement or for whatever you're planning to do with it, and instead of giving it to a financial advisor to manage it for you and charge you a percentage fee for that management service, and put it, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna put it into like stocks and bonds and different types of mutual funds that they say will get you wherever you need to be in however long, right? But all those different mechanisms that they're allowed to use, that they're actually forced to recommend, are not performing as well as if you just held Bitcoin. Okay, like we're gonna show you later on in the show during the stack recap what we've been doing so far. Okay, and I'm gonna just tell it to you real quick in case you're just here to get the answer to the question I posed in the title. Okay, what is it your financial advisor doesn't want you to know? They don't want you to know that you can manage your own dang money. and not have to pay somebody to do it for you, and or trade it for you, or do something with it to make it grow, right? All of those institutions, all of those plans have not performed better than Bitcoin, just holding it, right? So all you have to do is learn how to use a Bitcoin wallet, which is not that difficult. You can learn it in under an hour. And once you learn how to do that, you take whatever money you're going to invest into these different places, like a 401k and all that trap money stuff, and stocks and bonds and all that stuff, and you just put it into Bitcoin instead, and you hold it for long term. And long story short, you end up with a better increase in purchasing power than you would by holding all these other things that are more of a risk and more of a you have to count on a third party to like custody them for you, right? So you end up kind of taking unnecessary risk, unnecessary third party risk, right? Plus on top of that, you're paying all these extra fees and management fees from people that are claiming to want to help you get wealthy or trying to get you to get your retirement sooner, right? And all they're doing is coming in, and everybody's taking a little pinch off of the money you're trying to save for the long term, and it takes you longer and longer because everybody's taking their little pinch, right? Whereas if you save in Bitcoin, you buy the Bitcoin, you take custody of the Bitcoin, and that's it. That money, that value that you saved in Bitcoin is not leaking. It doesn't cost you anything to hold it for one day or to hold it for 100 years. There's no additional fees once you've bought the Bitcoin and taken it into custody. That's it. There's nothing anybody can do to make it degrade. It has an infinite shelf life. Okay? Whereas any of these other assets, even if somebody's charging you just 1% management fee on your portfolio over 100 years, they're gonna have all of it, right? So that's why we save Bitcoin, and that's what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know, because it works against them. It's against their self-interest to tell you, hey, we can manage your money for you, and we could grow it for you like at 13, maybe 14, maybe even 10, 8%. We can grow your money for you at that rate. And in the background, they're not telling you that the real rate of inflation is closer to 10%. So anything less than 10%, you're actually losing money, even if it looks like you're gaining money with their portfolio management stuff. On top of that, you have to pay all the fees for them to manage it for you, right? You pay fees, penalties for taking it out early if you decide you want your money before you retire, right? So it's trapped money at that point, right? The only way you do it is if you already have money in a 401k or a retirement account, then I would say maybe move those funds into like a MicroStrategy or like an IBIT ETF, because that money's already trapped in it anyway. So it would penalize you to take it out. But if you're starting from scratch today, right, just start saving in Bitcoin. It's easy. Okay, we're gonna jump into the stack recap segment, because I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. I'm not just saying. I'm not just trying to clickbait you to come in here and see what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know. This is what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know, really, and they don't want me to show you this spreadsheet that I'm about to show you, okay? Because it makes them irrelevant, right? It takes out the people in between you and trying to retire, right? You just basically buy the Bitcoin, take custody of the Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin is gonna be worth more and more over time against the inflating dollar. And just by that alone, you'll get closer and closer to your retirement date, to the point where you might be thinking to yourself, oh, shoot, I can retire in 3 years. I can retire in 4 years. I can retire in 5 years, right? Even the thought of retiring in 5 years right now is so foreign to anybody that it sounds like a hoop dream. It sounds like it's made up. It sounds like it's not real, but it's very real. It's very real, right? If you can get to 1 Bitcoin soon enough, right, then your retirement might come sooner than you think, right? So what we need to do is learn about Bitcoin and start stacking sats as soon as possible, because the bigger your stack is, the bigger the multiple will be, and the sooner your retirement will get to you, right? To the tune of, like, you can almost reliably count on, as you continue to stack sats, the more you stack, you can start seeing the dates come off of you. The date gets sooner to your retirement, to your freedom date. Because we don't call it retirement, right? Because retirement implies that you're done with life, I guess, or you're done with work and you don't have anything else to do. But what we're gonna call it is your freedom date, right? When you get closer and closer to your freedom date, the more you stack, and the faster the price of Bitcoin goes up. So as the price of Bitcoin goes up, your freedom date gets closer. And that's what we mean when we say the freedom train. Are you on? Right? Do you have your ticket to the freedom train? Right? The Bitcoin freedom train? Anyway, let's get into the stack recap so we can show you guys some numbers, not just talk the talk. Let's show you that we've walked the walk. Here we go. Stack recap, because we don't only talk about stacking sats here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Whoa. There it is. Accidentally clicked 2 buttons, guys. My bad. We actually buy Bitcoin every Monday through Friday here on the show, and let's go into the stack for 2024, mostly all in green. For 2024, just this year. Okay, we've been stacking sats $20 a day, sometimes $40 a day, sometimes $80 a day, but for the most part, $20 a day. And all of those buys are pretty much in green except for 1, 2, 3. Except for 3 buys in 2024 so far are all in green. And we are up about 26.65%. Nothing else would have given you this kind of return. And I'm talking with the freedom of not being captured money and not paying additional fees, right? We're not selling it, so we're not taking profits, so we're not having to pay taxes on it yet. We're not realizing those gains. This is unrealized gains, so there's no tax on this, right? But anyway, we're up 26.65%, and we're gonna keep holding on to it until we find something that's worth holding more than the Satoshis, more than the Bitcoin. Okay, for the whole lifespan of the show, since 2023, May 22nd, 2023, we're up about 60% in our portfolio. Okay, now you go. This is what your financial advisors want you to see, right? I'm not. I would say I would count myself as average intelligence individual. But some people might say I'm below average intelligent individual, and that's okay. Right? Because you can be a freaking genius, work your butt off, and get multiple PhDs, but if you're not stacking and you're not saving in Bitcoin, all that doesn't matter, because I'm up 60% as a low IQ pleb, and you'll be the smarter, more educated person is going to lose against me, because they're not fighting against me. They're fighting against the money printer. They're fighting against the whole government that's inflating the money away. You can't beat it. Okay. When you save your value in Bitcoin, you're increasing your purchasing power over time, and you're not doing it alone. The government is doing it for you, right? Because it takes more and more weaker dollars to buy the same amount of Bitcoin in the future, right? And that's part of the driving factor for Bitcoin going up. On top of that, it's just the Bitcoin is getting more and more demand now. So there's also that driving the price of Bitcoin up, right? And since the supply of Bitcoin is capped, as the demand goes up, there's no way to make more of it. So the only thing that can go up is the price. Okay, it's pretty wild. There's a lot of things here that are getting like mixed around, and like all these different concepts. But the idea is there. The idea that all you got to do to become more wealthy is buy the Bitcoin and hold it. It's pretty wild. Round of applause from a live studio audience for Leonard. What up, Leonard? Good to see you, dude. Hope all is well. Cool. Yeah, drive safe, dude. That's awesome. But yeah, 60% up for the year. And I'm sorry, not for the year, for the lifespan of the show. And we're still stacking, guys. We're still stacking, because I understand that let me see what McLovin said. Peter Schiff is likely a very smart person, so why does he not understand Bitcoin? Peter Schiff is a smart person. I believe he is. But he built his whole business on the idea that you need to buy gold to hedge yourself against the dollar, right? So it wouldn't make sense for him to change direction and say, oh, you know what, Bitcoin is better than gold. Because then people that are buying gold from him, right, are gonna think that he like pulled the fast one on them. Plus, his whole career is he's the gold guy, right? The gold guy can't switch to Bitcoin. right? But I know, not no, I don't know, but I'm guessing, I'm assuming that in the background, he's probably stacking Bitcoin hand over fist in the background. You know, he's probably selling people gold, taking his cut, taking his percentage of whatever fee it takes to sell gold or silver, and he's taking that some of that revenue and putting it into Bitcoin. If he's smart, that's what he's doing, right? If he's really smart, right? Some people are also just stubborn and hard headed and don't like to admit that they maybe had a wrong concept of Bitcoin, right? It's a huge step to be able to say, you know what? I thought Bitcoin was trash and it was criminal money used by terrorists, blah, blah, but I was wrong. Okay, it's super hard to do that, right? It takes a certain type of person to admit to themselves, first off, shoot, maybe I was wrong, right? In the day and age where people freaking double down and triple down on their poor decisions and their poor things that they've said or done and never admit that they're wrong, those people are not going to make it. You know, they're not going to be able to all of a sudden be like, you know what? Let me have a second look at this Bitcoin thing. Let me have a third look at this Bitcoin thing. Maybe Michael Saylor was like a Giga Chad, super smart dude, knows something that I don't. Maybe Larry Fink, that manages a whole ton of money, that runs BlackRock, has had whole teams of people look into Bitcoin and research it and see if it's a valid way to store value and gain value against the inflating dollar. Maybe Larry Fink, BlackRock, and his whole team of researchers are also wrong. See, I mean, it takes some balls, really, guys, to say, no, I'm right. Bitcoin is not the thing for me, in spite of all of these people that have way more resources, arguably more intelligent than most people, right? How they could be wrong, right? Yeah, it's true. They could be wrong. There's a chance that they could be wrong, but the likelihood of that is not is less, right? And then on top of that, they're not saying anything we didn't hear about already, right? Larry Fink, Michael Saylor are not saying anything that like Antonopoulos didn't say before, right? It's Bitcoin. It's in the white paper. It's just the way it works. It's transparent. It's available for everybody to understand, right? They might put their spin on it, and they understand how it works in terms of like the financial system and like companies and stocks and all that stuff. So they do make it easier to understand for common folks, but they didn't create it. It's been like that, right? It's wild. So it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to just gain momentum. And like, geez, right now it's like we're looking at it and it's happening. And there's like there's proof right there. There's proof of our stack right there, guys. 60% up since the beginning of the show, about a year and a half. And this is what your financial planner doesn't want you to see. Your financial planner needs you to be dumb, ignorant about your finances, and they need you to be ignorant about inflation and how it really works. They need you to be ignorant about the hurdle rate and how if you can't beat the hurdle rate, which basically means any investment that isn't making above 9 or 10% per year is actually losing you money. And if you're making 10% a year, you're actually just treading water. You're not getting any wealthier because wealth comes from the increase of repurchasing power, right? And if the money supply is increasing and the market is reflecting the money supply increase by the prices going up, and your investments are going up about 10%, about the rate of inflation, that doesn't mean you got richer because you're holding more pieces of money. It just means that that asset is holding you to inflation, and even though it might look like you have more money, your purchasing power has stayed the same. Okay, so it's like the whole pizza example. If you have a pizza and you cut it into more slices, you didn't make more pizza. You just made more slices. Okay, it's still gonna take half half of the whole pizza to fill you up if you're really hungry, I guess, right? So whether you take 4 slices from an 8-slice 4 slices from an 8-slice pizza, so like half a pizza, or you take 8 slices from a 16-slice pizza, you're still getting half a pizza. But on paper, it'll say one guy has 4 slices of pizza, and in the future, that same guy on paper has 8 slices of pizza. You think, wow, and he's thinking, wow, I'm so rich. My money doubled. My slices doubled, right? But then when he goes to look at his slices all lined up together, it still adds up to half a pizza, right? 8 slices from the future compared to 4 slices from the past. It's the same thing, right? So when you look at these investments, like people that are going to stocks and bonds and all that stuff, and even properties, even homes, yeah, it looks like the property value has gone up. But if it hasn't gone up more than 10% at least year over year, you're actually still holding the same half of the pizza. You're still holding the same amount of, you know what I mean? So, and then on top of that, there's all these other ways that those other asset classes will lose you money. Taxes, insurance, damage, what's it called? Damage from like tenants or damage from like nature, right? Or a fire, all that kind of stuff, you know? Like your neighborhood goes from a nice neighborhood to a bad neighborhood, that'll lose your value, right? And anyway, so those are all the things that your financial planner doesn't want you to hear. They don't want you to understand that it's way easier to just buy Bitcoin. To just buy Bitcoin, take custody of that Bitcoin, and repeat, right? Slow and steady, you'll start to see, like we saw here on the show, that my $5 purchase on day 1 of this show back in May 22nd, 2023 turned into $13.01. Look at that. Right? That's more than 100% for that particular buy. Okay? Now let's pretend this $5 buy was, I don't know, something that I could have bought for, let's say I could have bought a house for, I don't know. What can you buy a house for? Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do some quick math. Okay. Since your financial advisor is going to ask you about this, let's do this. You gave your financial advisor 100. 1, 2, 3. Let's say you gave your financial advisor $100,000 to invest for you. Okay. And instead of investing it, so you have $200,000 for a financial advisor to invest, and you gave him $100,000, and you kept $100,000, and you put $100,000 just into Bitcoin. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do the price of Bitcoin at that time was 27,000. Oops. Let's see, divided by 27,360. So we paid 1,000, and we're able to accumulate 3.65,497. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 0, 7, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits. Okay. Let's say that. We'll just call it that. Boom. Okay. So just in this little thing, your $100,000 that you invested in your Bitcoin, instead of giving it to your financial advisor to lose, to get you 14% year over year, right? Your value of that investment exploded to like double and a half. See? And yeah, if you had 3.65 Bitcoin today, that's pretty damn awesome. Okay. But it just goes to show you, like, yeah, this is over a year and a half, right? Let me fix my sheet before I break it. There it goes. Right. This sheet serves as an example of what the potential is and what it actually is at these low numbers, right? But if you're doing like $100 a day or whatever, these numbers all multiply, right? It's wild the way it works once you start seeing it actually happening. What up, McLovin? What up, Aaron? Good to see you here. Round of applause from a live studio audience. If you study the history of money, you'll see that Bitcoin has an inevitable. Bitcoin was an inevitable creation. Money originated in the private sector, and now, thanks to Bitcoin, it will return to the people where it belongs. Nice. Garrett in the house. What up? Garrett, how are you doing, sir? Howdy, fellas. It's been a minute, but nothing new. Just stacking away. Let's go. How's that stack doing, Garrett? Dang, dude. Man, Garrett, yeah. Garrett learned about Bitcoin and literally grabbed the Bitcoin bull by the horns and stacked his face off. And I hope you are in the positives, sir, because you've been stacking and you listened, right? You're open-minded enough to take a gander at it and say, you know what? I know that Roman is weird and he makes the kinds of videos about random stuff and he likes to fish and he likes to ride around motorcycles and he makes funny jokes. What the heck does this guy know about finances? But you know what? I'm gonna check it out. I'm just gonna look into it. I'm just gonna look into it, you know? And maybe he's completely wrong, but maybe he's not. And little did we know. Well, we knew it was gonna happen, guys. We're at 70K already, right? And I don't know. It feels like it's just the beginning of the beginning of the bull run is about to start, right? Everybody's about to start figuring it out, and then you start to get the phone calls, the texts from the people that you've mentioned Bitcoin to before, and they're like, I don't know. What did Boltar say? Boltar, do I need more Bitcoin? Boltar speaks, outlook not so good. You gotta have some negative ones in there just in case somebody asks the question. But yeah, for the most part, Boltar is malfunctioning. It looks like. All right, so let's go. Let's get the show back on track. Where are we? Here's the browser. Here's the stack for 2024. And today the price of Bitcoin is $72,309 as of the recording of this show. So today, since our average buy price of $60,546, we'll be buying $20 worth of Bitcoin today. And let me show you how easy it is. This is also what your financial planner does not want you to see. They don't want you to see this that's about to happen right now. It's time to stack some sats. All right. This is what your financial planner does not want you to see for sure. This takes them out of the picture. You unlock your phone, right? You go to your Strike app. You hit buy. You hit, I just want to buy $20 worth of Bitcoin right now. You hit $20. You hit next. You cut the music. You hit the drum roll. You hit confirm. And in 3, 2, 1, you now have acquired 27,379 Satoshis. Just like that. Okay? You don't even need a financial planner. You need a broker. You need anybody. You don't have to call them. You just buy that yourself when you want to, right? The next step from here is once that money clears, you take it off your exchange and you put it into your self-custody wallet. That's it. That's it. And that's all I had to do. Okay? That's all I had to do to turn these $20.20 into $32.96. That's all I had to do to turn these $5 into $13.01. Okay? That's all I had to do to turn these $25 into $71. Okay. Let's go to a big whopper. That's all I had to do on episode 100 of the show to turn this $1,009 into $2,030. See? That's all the work I needed to do. This is important. This is super important. How hard do you have to work today, right now, to get $1,000? Okay? How hard? Don't answer the question. I mean, if you want to, you can leave it in the chat. But what do you have to do right now to earn $1,000? Okay? All right? So keep that in your mind. Okay? You've earned $1,000. Now you take those $1,000 and you set it aside into Bitcoin, and it doubles. That means that you didn't have to do that hard thing that you had to do for the first 1,000. Okay? You doubled your money. You've don't think of it as doubling your money. You've actually given yourself the time back. Do you know what I mean? In terms of having to, so let's say you did that one thing to earn you $1,000, and if you want another $1,000 to get to $2,000, you have to do that same amount of work again to get that second 1,000. Okay, to get to 2,000. Well, I took the 1,000 that I worked hard for the first time, and I put it into Bitcoin, and I didn't have to work like you for the second 1,000. I just held it in Bitcoin, and it doubled. Okay, that is exactly what your financial advisor doesn't want you to know, because they want you to be dependent on them, so they can charge you fees for managing for not even for managing your money, for losing your money. Right? They're going to charge you a fee to make you poorer while they're making you poorer. Okay? So, anyway, that is all I got for you guys today. We're going to skip the Q&A section. Subscribe if you haven't already. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Let's kick the show off and wrap it up with you know what I'm talking about. The wrap-up song. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Do me a favor, hit that like button before you go. We'll be back here tomorrow, stacking sats and slapping something. Stacking sats, and it's going to be amazing. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Stack Sats Show. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. My glasses hit the gong on the way out. Woo! That's awesome. McLovin coming in hard. It's the way they called. Is that why it's called a broker? Because they make you a broker? Let's go. Later. That's so good. Oh, man.